Hello and welcome everyone in another episode of Researcher Celebrity. And today we have Ankit. Ankit is a PhD student at International Center of Genetic Engineering and Biotechnology, New Delhi. And he has done his bachelor's and master's in biomedical engineering, biomedical sciences, and from Delhi University. So let's welcome Ankit. And Ankit, thank you for sharing your time, like giving your time for us, for sharing the journey. So let's start with this.
Thanks for the introduction, Raja, and I'm glad you gave me this platform to speak about the experiences.
Yeah. So let's start with first question. Are you enjoying your PhD?
Yeah, I'm loving it. Actually, I'm like compiling the things for my PhD. I'm in the writing phase. So I had a wonderful time during the PhD, of course, including the COVID times and everything, but it was a fun ride.
Nice. Very good. So let's start from the start. How and when you started thinking that you want to pursue in research as a career?
So this thing started when I was doing my bachelor's, because as a part of my course, BSc Honors Biomedical Sciences in Bhaskaracharya College, we were supposed to do a 2-month summer internship. So I went for that. That was the first exposure to a lab. So that's what changed the things for me, because I was not at all interested in research earlier. I was more into extracurricular activities and was trying to make career in those things. But that 2 months training period just changed the things for me. Like, I liked the culture in the lab. I liked the work they were doing. They were using their thoughts and ideas every time they are modulating their things. So that's what attracted me in this field.
Nice, very good. So as you said, that was the first research experience. Then you moved to your master's. How was that?
Master's was actually for me, since I did my bachelor's in biomedical sciences, and ICGEB, from where I did my master's, it's Delhi University. So it's actually the parent institution of the college, like biomedical sciences has been introduced by them only in the college. So first year was like repetition of the bachelor's. So the second year, I guess, when we were introduced to dissertation, which I did in INMAS in Timarpur area. So it's also a very reputed institute for, like, it's a DRDO institute, which is majorly, my research over there was involving radiation biology and impact of radiation therapy on cancer and cancer treatment, including a drug 2DG, 2-deoxyglucose. So that also attracted me towards research. Earlier, things were different. Nice. So training periods have been the milestones, actually.
Very good. So how do you see research? Because I remember Dr. Tiadak's words. He used to say that PhD is not an academic degree, it's a training. And as you said, trainings got you motivated to research, and now you are doing it full time. So how do you feel that the difference?
Yeah, see, if I'm working on a single question, like from the beginning, since I joined PhD in 2016. So at that time, I was not clear about the question I'm going to answer in my PhD. But okay, sorry. So actually what happened that during that phase, when I joined the PhD, I was working with my seniors in the lab. So there were 3 to 4 seniors in the lab whom I was working with. So that learning did a very helpful job for me. And after that, actually, that fun thing which you are saying, that PhD is actually the learning process. That's actually correct. The moment I stopped learning after some time, because then I was doing the repetition of what I've already learned. It became boring for some time. But then COVID arrived. And since we were working with the viruses, we got some new work to perform on SARS-CoV-2. So that actually, that was a bad phase, obviously, for the world. But it actually ignited the thing again, because we were surrounded with new questions and we were working on that.
Nice. Very good. So as you said, then most of the researchers, what they feel is like that it is mostly the repetitive work which you do every day. Either it be the PCRs or, doing all those isolations, either it be DNA, RNA. How do you cope up with that?
Actually, I look at the question I'm going to answer. If I've already answered the question, that thing is done. I'm looking for the new question. And because I guess the major problem occurs when I forget the question I was supposed to answer through my work. If I'm focused on that particular question, I think the best thing is that in the beginning of your notebook, if you have everything, the questions you need to answer, if you write that, you will never get bored because you will have a target. The moment you stop having a target, like small milestones, then this boring thing and those things started. And again, the friends and colleagues you're working with, like seniors, juniors, and people from other labs, your batchmates, and some friends from other field. They also, like when you are saturated, these are the helping hands. Like you can have a good time with them.
Absolutely.
And then get back to work if you are highly saturated with your lab or work.
Very good, very good. So here you briefly talked about keeping the data, data for like maintaining the records. It is very important and has been seen in like not most of the, although it is required that you should be maintaining your data very neatly, very organized, because while compiling, this is one of the hassles which when in our interactions with PhD scholars and master scholars, when they are doing their dissertations and research, what do you want to share or would suggest our viewers? Because when it comes to data keeping, that when you are maintaining your records, how important is that?
See, that is actually the most essential part, because during our PhD, we are answering the same question during the course of 3 to 4 years, at least. We are working on the same question. And if we somehow lose the data we collected in the beginning, then you might have to repeat everything. And so for that case, one thing which worked for me, because my supervisor in the PhD has, maybe based on her experience, I've learned these things. She has always promoted us to share the work reports. Sometimes when she's not around, then maybe weekly reports. Otherwise, monthly reports did a very good job for us. Like we used to prepare the graphs or whatever data we are producing by our experiments, we used to mail her in the PPTs, or if we are having some raw data, we used to mail her. So that way, I just have to find, like open my Gmail and just search for the keywords. Or I actually, if I remember that, okay, I must have done this work in 2017. Because notebook is one thing. The best thing is if I'm having it on Gmail, just type the keywords and you'll find your data. That actually worked for me.
Nice. And I think this is bring us to next question, that keeping the data in the cloud is also one of the things which is highly recommended. And nowadays, researchers are using it a lot. That is easy because it gives you the access wherever you can access it, because sometimes you're out of your lab and then you want to access it. So it's on your cloud, you can just easily access it. That's
exactly.
So here to all our viewers, I would like to mention that whatever Ankit is saying, you should take it seriously, because when it comes to data compilation, and it's like years of data, you generate sometimes a lot of data in a month. And if you are not doing the compilation and the analysis very frequently, it will be a tough mountain to break sometimes. And I know some of my fellow colleagues who have struggled very bad with this. Although on the other hand, some of them are super organized, they never face a problem when they are asked about their data. Okay, so Ankit, how about okay, now the data compilation part is fine. You are maintaining records very good. And sometimes it happens that suddenly either it is a kit or, just the experiments are not working. How do you cope up with that, or what do you do?
Yeah, actually, at that time, you actually need a support system. That the technical support system for us actually worked really well in ICGEB. I've not seen many people going through that, but I have been lucky in that case, because we have seniors who have been working in the lab or in the institute. Suppose I'm having a problem related to some protein expression or some cloning work, or maybe some other infection experiments. So there have been people like, and there have been friends. Like I had friends from like 5 years, fifth year in the PhD when I joined. So these things actually help. Like technical help, you can get it from them. But even then, if some experiment is not working, the best thing is to go to your PI or someone, like if PI is not available, or you think that, okay, some of your colleagues, friends, or some friends even from other institutes, if they are working in the similar project or problem, you can actually discuss with them and find a solution. Like I was struggling with an issue, and one of my friends' friend in some other institute in Delhi only, they were working on the same thing, and we came to know, okay, they faced this problem, they faced the same problem 2 years back. So we actually got the solution from them, because that saved us a lot of time, energy, and basically that thing kept on working. Otherwise, we were on a verge of letting this go.
Okay.
And because sometimes things don't work, and you have to plan some alternative experiments or those things. So I guess the peers in the field, they are mostly helpful in that case.
Nice. So you nicely put the words like support system. I really admire that word. So to all the audience and viewers and the researchers who are facing things, okay, sometimes research goes just off the way. You are expecting something else and it turned out the opposite. So here comes the role of the support system. As Ankit said, you have to have a functional support system, and keeping the networks on gives you high time. Seriously, pays that off very well. So Ankit, when you said that you faced a problem, you outreached, and then you got the solution, it saved you time. When you share the experiences within your peers, what is their reaction about that?
Sorry, what is the
reaction?
Your last line.
Because some of them might be, very inhibited. They don't look it out for. And when you're sharing that, okay, I had a problem, I have outreached, I got the solution, so this probably can help you also. How do they receive it?
Actually, see, in PhD, what I think during research of PhD or any time, like having friends. So you cannot just go to some person who's a complete stranger, and we are complete stranger to someone. They are not very comfortable in discussing research. So if you have someone in, suppose some other institute, suppose IIT Delhi. So if I know that someone is working on similar thing and they can help me. If I'm having a friend somewhere in IIT Delhi and they know some people in the lab, so it's it's much better if you are talking in a casual or friendly manner. Like if you are going from PI to PI, these things are occurring. It's much better if students themselves can discuss the things. Reaction, mostly what happens that if they also feel proud, like, okay, they're helping someone in research. If someone is coming to me for a question and I have an answer, I also feel good that, okay, I helped someone without investing a lot of time. Only my suggestions have worked out for them. So it's actually a good feeling for a researcher.
Very good. No, I think this is very important for any researcher, and the piece of advice, if they will listen to you, they will be the one who will get benefited out of it. Thank you very much for that part. So now let's talk about the balance, how you balance your work with your commitments, like either it is about family or like friends, as you said, because what I can understand from this is like you have a very vast friend circle.
Not actually. These are basically my batchmates who are working in research. These are like batchmates from bachelor's or masters, or maybe some people who have switched to some other institutes. It's all about, like, if you are in good terms, like at least you are talking to people. Like they should recognize you. Your batchmate should recognize you if you call them sometime, or maybe you meet them. So that is the key. And balancing thing is very personal. Like if I want to give time to my family, because maybe it's just time, sometimes it's maybe financial thing or some other aspect. So it's completely up to me, because with us, one good thing was that RPI don't ask us to work late in the evening, or she doesn't call us in the weekends. It's our choice if we want. we can, but she doesn't expect us to come and work on the holiday, because Saturday and Sunday are off days in ICGEB basically. Basically Sunday, Saturday, I guess, for staff, it's an off day, and but we have never been forced to come on Saturdays or Sundays. We have to just complete our work. We can come in the working hours, complete the work, and leave. And again, it's completely up to me how I'm managing my family time, lab time, friends time, or anything like. But and other things like
yes.
Yeah, sorry, please.
So I was just asking that when you were looking for PhD labs, when you were actively searching, what were the key ingredients you wanted to be in a PI? Because what I can hear is like you are very happy with your PI, and probably some of your batchmates or your friends might not be as happy as you.
True.
Their PIs. So your some of your insights about that what a person should consider before joining a lab.
See, 2-3 things I would like to mention here, that most of the times we are very much attracted towards the work we perform during our dissertation. In your masters, when we go for a project for 6 months or so, we are very much fascinated about that work, because that is something we have been exposed to. With me, what actually happened that since all my bachelor's and master's seniors and maybe the batchmates were into PhD, so I had friends in many institutes, like had batchmates in all the institutes, maybe you can say. So one thing, the people who have already been there, communicating with them, like suppose I like a lab, I had 3-4 labs in which I was interested in ICGEB, and such 3-4 labs were in every institute, because I was going through that. And but what actually worked, that when I came here, I wanted to know whether I will be working with a good person. Your PI should be a good human being, basically. The happiness index in your lab should be the priority, because everyone is working. Okay, that level could be from, if you are going from 0 to 10, the levels could be different, but happiness index should be high in the lab. And the people who are about to finish their PhD, they can tell the best about this. And maybe I would say, like, my conversations were with the security guards, the lab attendants, because they actually tell you the truth. Like, okay, these are the good people. They talk to us properly. And this is someone who has a very negative attitude. Like, they don't even respond to the greetings and those things. So these are the people who judge you from a different aspect. So that is also important. If you can communicate with the staff working in your institute, where you are applying or going for interviews. And for me, these things are also worked. Like, I had an idea, okay, these people are like this and those things. So that thing worked.
Nice. I think you just took it to another level of depth and intense research about it, like going and talking to staff, security guards, because absolutely, as you said, they see the person from a different aspect. They don't know what the PI is, doing research on, or how good lab is in research, but they only know about their skills or communications, which is very important at times. Yes, absolutely.
Exactly.
So now let's talk about the future plans. As you said that you are in your thesis phase, you are going to write thesis, submit, you will be doctor soon. And then what are the plans?
So currently I've been writing my thesis, and I've been also looking for the labs which I want to join for the postdoctoral studies. So with us, with me and many other batchmates of mine, we have been discussing this from a long time now, like the benefits of going to, suppose currently the discussion is all about going to the labs in US, maybe in Europe, what are the pros and cons? And these things are going on, like going for a long term, going for a short term, and maybe returning back. So currently I'm in conversation with my peers who are already there, like doing their postdocs. Some of them have joined industry. So from the last many months or years, I've been in conversation with all these people. Some who have joined the industry, some who have who are doing postdocs, maybe in US, Europe, some are in Japan, and like this. So I guess again, these seniors, these friends, these are helping us out in a lot of things. But again, I'm just learning from their experience. Again, when I'll be applying, I'll be seeing that, okay, what are the possible options over there, like available options, and working on that. But currently, I'm looking forward to go for a postdoc. Yeah.
Nice, nice. So, as you said that you had the clarity when you were joining your PhD lab, I believe that you might have a clear picture in your head that how and which labs you want to like, you know, even consider for. In one of our conversation with Dr. Abhinav, he is a postdoc at Stanford, and he mentioned few very key important issues, that what are the considerable factors which you should consider when you are applying for a postdoc position, or when you are considering a lab for your postdoctoral study. Probably you can listen to that, or you might have already. And this is what I want to say to all of our viewers, that when you listen a person at different stage, as now Ankit is talking about his PhD experience, there are keywords which have been given by our like emeritus professors, what they look into for in a student when they are looking considering their applications. So it gives you a full circle that what you should be looking for or what they are looking for, so that you can come midway and get through it. So that's a very good point. And I would like to say that when you are doing a postdoctoral fellow, is that a short-term thing, or you are considering it for a long-term?
Yeah, so actually in that case, sorry, I actually didn't get the question, but I got your point that what are the factors we have to look when we are choosing the lab. Am I right?
Yeah,
or
yeah.
I missed something? Yeah. So I actually went through the talk. I guess it was uploaded today only. So I got a chance to just go through that in the morning. So he actually covered a very good point, that when we are going for the postdoc, what factors we have to look for. I can just add to that, like currently when after completing PhD, the scenario is different. We are much better in communication. Like the best thing is to be very clear with your principal investigator over there.
Yes.
Like nowadays they tell you that, okay, we have the funding or grant for 1 year or 2 years, or maybe we want something for 5 years. The best thing is to be very truthful with them, and let them answer all your queries, like raise your concerns and queries, because if you're clear, your thoughts are clear, you can ask them the questions, and most of the times they're also answering those things. Another point, okay, the level of work I'm doing here currently and the facilities I'm having. So for one thing would be like going to an advanced lab, which the people who are working with better facilities and better questions, and obviously publications are one thing, as he said in the morning, like when I was watching the video, that okay, we look at the publications. His one point was very very good, that okay, your publications are your introduction, like it never fades out. So that is also one of the factor, like we are looking at the past publications, and whether the postdoctoral fellows are getting the first author or second author, and what is the scenario, how frequently they are publishing. If I stay there for 5 years, and there is a chance that there is a thin chance that okay, I might not be having a good publication by the end of 3 years or 4 years. So I won't be very happy in that scenario, because my expectations are okay, I've got some good publications in my PhD. Now in postdocs, I want to get much better. Going to a lab which is having much advanced facilities. So those things are like primary concerns.
Okay, that's I think nicely addressed all those concerns. So now what are the things out of research which excites Ankit?
There are a lot of things, like after COVID, one of the hobby was like going through all the movies and series due to COVID. Otherwise, it was like going for the bike rides. That is the way out for me when I'm like tired or I don't feel like working. Just take my bike and go for a ride. That is one thing. And there have been many trips during the PhD. and we have been to lab trips, the solo trips, individual trips, or like group trips. That has actually helped and helped me gain a lot of other experiences, because most of the time we spend in our labs. So sometimes we feel like, okay, we have been cut out of the outside world, but these things actually help you going for the trips and meeting new people, maybe in the libraries, or not the institutional libraries, but the public libraries, and maybe going through the literature or other things. So it's very important to have different hobbies. Like music is one thing which I just listen to the music, nothing like playing or singing, but yeah, I enjoy that as well. So these are 3-4 things which
So
is from
how these hobbies help you being a better researcher?
being a better researcher. See, sometimes if I just look at the particular instances, sometimes when I've been discussing my thing, because sometimes we just want to talk about our work.
Yes.
And we have audiences here, like the friends, they can understand, but obviously they're overloaded with their work.
Yes.
They have a lot in their minds.
Yes.
So many of my school friends, we actually generally we try to have a get together in the weekends, maybe twice or thrice in a month. So there one person is from law, another person is food industry. So these friends, when you talk to them about your things, now sometimes very good ideas come out of that.
Yes.
And apart from that, if there is some kind of stress, like your experiments are not working, maybe you are performing something and due to some reason you are performing some experiment, and due to some reason which is not even your mistake, that experiment is spoiled. So at that time you feel like, okay, what should I do? So at that time, if you go to friends who are not from this field, they don't even want to, they listen to you, but they are not actually technically understanding what you are doing or what you are talking about.
Yes.
So it's a very good thing. Discuss with them. You are lighthearted. They can also give you some good suggestions and everything. Okay, move on. These things happens with us also. It's not just your problem.
Yeah.
That thing actually works.
Nice, nice. I think, and that is that correlates with some of the greatest discoveries are done by just in the disguise. It's not the researcher who wanted to do that at that point of time, but it just came out of nowhere. So
yeah, actually,
that is very important part. Going out, speaking, and talking to people and sharing your issues, problems, and all the concerns. That's a very good thing, which I would like to suggest all of our researchers, that never let it build in your head at the power that where you will break. Because now what we are seeing in especially in PhDs and late PhD students, some of the students are dropping out in their 4th year or in their 5th year, which is really sad. We don't want to let that happen, and that is also one of the parts of creating this series of researcher celebrities, that if you will celebrate your research, if you are proud of what you are doing, if you know how you are giving your due contribution to the society, it gives you another level of enthusiasm and positive attitude that, okay, something might not have worked today, but there is always a tomorrow. Take a break, come after fresh mind, and then again. And this is something which is evident, and people have shown it that it works. You go out, the same experiment you do on Friday and the same experiment you do on Wednesday, they give different results. It's not about you, it's just about, because there is a thing called mental fatigue that also happens, and not many people have addressed it. So this brings us to our point of mental fatigue. Ankit, have you experienced it? If yes, then why? How did you overcome it?
Mental fatigue, yeah, it's there. Like when you are working on the same problem, like with me, what happens actually when I've submitted an article for the publication, it's not very joyful to read your own article which you have written again and again. And obviously we are making changes. So these are some of the things when your article is under revisions, or you're doing some experiments which are very longer. Like you're not going to get your results in 2-3 days. These are actually long experiments, and if they don't work, you are actually somehow tired mentally. So for that, I guess one thing is, sometimes it works that, okay, you leave everything, just take a break, maybe for an evening or maybe for 2 to 4 days. Go somewhere, spend some time, do whatever makes you feel good, come back. But in that time, actually, you give time to self introspection. Like, okay, what possibly I'm doing wrong. So this is one thing. But actually, we sometimes need a break. Like I do. Like I have to take some of the breaks and then come back to the problem with completely fresh mind. Though I've noted down all the issues possibly occurring in the experiments, I take a note of it and then come back after a certain point of time. And in that time, I'm just talking about what I can do. Again, you can seek help, but sometimes you actually don't need help. You just need a break.
Yes.
Then you can think of new things and come back.
Nice.
These things work.
Yeah. So we are almost at the end of this conversation. It was a pleasure talking to you, Ankit. Just at the last question. So what do you suggest to a PhD student who are either considering to enroll themselves for PhD or who are doing their PhD in initial years? And lastly, because you are submitting, so you are in a situation where you can say that, okay, at the time of submission, what are the things which they should be aware of, or, should be giving more due attention?
Okay, so I'll start from the joining part. Like when you're about to join a PhD, just be very clear that you choose a good lab, and so that your life apart from PhD is on a good track. You should take care of that. Take care of your health, because many times many people just lose account of their health during the PhD. And take care of your health, take care of your life, family. Try to join a lab which gives you time for this, because your PhD is not an end. It's just a learning process, and you will actually go into the actual field to maybe fight or maybe to earn or maybe to anything. This PhD is a preparatory phase. So learn as much as possible. And I would say you can, but don't think that this is the time when I'll just take a degree and move out with very good publication. I don't think anyone has got a Nobel based on their PhD work. If they've got it very good, it could be an exception. Try to learn as much as possible, because I guess this is the last degree where we'll be learning. Like people would be teaching us, and after this, we'll be actually serving to someone, or maybe in an industry or a postdoc lab. They expect work from us. They are not very much interested in teaching you new things, because they can get someone who know the thing. And that is a very practical approach. And learn as much as possible, and find a lab in which people are happy. You make good friends, talk to people, communicate with people. And while submitting, you should just ask yourself this question, like whether my graph has raised or not. Just if it's stagnant, like in first year when I joined, I should reach here by the end of PhD. If I'm stuck here from second or third year, then it's a problem. If you're not growing there, try to move on, submit the thesis, or look for some other things. And as you suggested that dropout rates are increasing, but I have seen in my circle or the institutes, most of the times the things were that there were lack of communication between the lab mates, the PI, and the student. These things, like people are not communicating very well, or if there is a bad attitude problem with some maybe student or PI, I think that also needs to be counseled somehow. Maybe whether they speak within themselves, or maybe someone from the authority, maybe the director or the group leader or HOD, if they can communicate. Like communication actually is the solution for a lot of problems during our PhD. If we communicate well. That's what.
And I think this brings us to a very crucial point, and at ESF, we address that, the counseling part. If you have any issue, if any researcher, they feel they cannot talk to anyone else, we are open. We are there to give you all the due ear. We will hear you. If required, then we will try to put you in contact so that you can get your counseling, because we want your work to be completed and your motto, your goal to be achieved. And with this, I would like to say thank you to Ankit, and all the viewers can contact Ankit directly because his details will be flashed also in the web link. And also they can contact us if they want to be put in more contact with the other researchers and our researcher celebrities. Thank you, Ankit, and good luck
Thank
for
you.
your thesis
Thank you
submission.
for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.